Viability of the media, working conditions in the media, broadcast media ownership, and other matters related to media. My colleague Christian Yali has been sitting through that launch and has joined us via Zoom for a quick interaction on this. Mr. Yali, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. What exactly are some of the highlights of the report about Ghana's media?
All right, so Martin, the event is still undergoing at the University of Ghana, and some of the highlights of this report, which is yet to be made public, is the fact that media in the country, or the Ghanaian media, needs urgent help, and that is one thing that the UG Department of Communication Studies has highlighted so far. Currently ongoing is a presentation by Professor Audrey Gajepo, who is taking the participant through the key highlight of the report and the specific issues that the report seeks to highlight. But just like you preempted earlier, the report is a 7-chapter report, which, among other things like you highlighted, also talk about the safety of journalists in the country. And talking about safety of journalists, one of the keynote speakers in the person of Dr. Yeboah Benin, who is the head of the UG Department of Communication Studies, noted that there are a number of times, just like we know, that Ghanaian journalists or media practitioners are subjected to abuse in their line of reporting. So this report, among others, is just highlighting the safety concerns and issues of safety about journalists. It is also going to look at media management and regulation in the country. And also, it is also going to look at the issue of financial viability and also the conditions of media practice in Ghana. But the summary of what the head of UG Communication Department Studies made us know is that things are not good enough for the Ghanaian media. In essence, if there is anything to be done, it must be done urgently. And the report, in a way, is seeking to highlight some of these critical issues so that, policy makers and media practitioners can inculcate some of the findings in this report to ensure that the media landscape becomes better. But Professor Amin Al-Hassan, the director of GBC, mentioned something peculiar, that although the country is enjoying some level of freedom in terms of media practitioners or media practice, there is a rise in indiscriminate media practice on social media and then online. He also mentions the fact that people are, being reckless or gradually becoming reckless in the media field. And it's the reason this report is going to kind of alterate or make some amendment or bring to the fore these issues so that practitioners can, take cognizance of it and take action. So here, there are a number of media practitioners here, including the Media Foundation for West Africa. We have the National Media Commission, NMC, here as well as a host of media houses that are here to go through the report and situate the way forward.
Okay. Christian Yali, thank you very much for that report that you're giving us about the, the media landscape in Ghana and the research that has been done into it. Let's do politics now. The National Democratic Congress, NDC flag bearer hopeful and former president of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, has taken on government over its failure to pay statutory funds into dedicated accounts for efficient running of the state, especially at the local level. Addressing executives of the Shai Osudoku constituency, John Mahama says his administration will ensure strict compliance to statutory payments.
Anywhere I go, they either come and give me a stone or the light, a torchlight, and come and shine it in my eyes. And the simple meaning of that, if you see somebody with a torchlight lighted in the daytime, it means that he has lost something and he's looking for that thing. And in the morning, if somebody brings a stone and says, "Get your stone," in our tradition, it means that you told them the truth and they didn't listen. So what it means is that Ghanaians are telling us, NDC, come for your stone. Because when you said it, we didn't listen. In Tree, they say Onya bibia ma wasia. Wombono krono. If your in-law comes and visits you and you can't get something to give to your in-law, the little your in-law too has, don't steal it. $1 million didn't come. Now, District Assembly's common fund that the law says belongs to the district to do their own development, District Assembly's common fund to share, it doesn't come. Bobo. You know? And they try to convince us that Ghana is better off today than it was when NDC was in office. That one, I can't think far. I just can't, and I can't understand it. Is it that they don't live here in Ghana with us? Or you just can't understand? How can we be better off today when things are so difficult? The cost of everything is so high. And the frightening news is that once the IMF program starts, every 3 months the electricity tariff is going to be adjusted upwards. Every 3 months. And so it means that it's going to get even more difficult. Water bills are up. If you're even lucky, you get the water. Most times the water doesn't flow. You don't get water. NHIA card, you take to hospital. If you are lucky, you get para.
So that's former President touching briefly on issues of health. Talking about health, though, the current health minister, Kwaku Agyeman-Manu, has bemoaned what he describes as extortion of patients by health facilities under the guise of the NHIS bills. Speaking at the opening of a 3-day 2023 first senior managers of the Ghana Health Service meeting in Kumasi, the minister admitted that the delays in paying the NHIS claims and also noted that it was not the basis to extort monies from the vulnerable, especially those seeking critical care in these current economic conditions.
But we also have challenges. From the end user point of view, it looks like health insurance is not working in our country at the moment. I'm a patient and I know what it is. And I interact with a lot of people, not only my constituency, not only my region, but elsewhere. And the complaints that are coming about how those who are subscribed to health insurance are treated in almost all our facilities. To the extent that even CS, some are paying more than 1,000 cedis from their pockets in quite a number of our facilities now, when that is on the health insurance benefit package list. And it's a sad thing. Those of us like you can afford. So health insurance was not done because of us. I mean, those of us, the middle class. But the very core poor people in that village down there. It's a very sad situation. A plea is that, yes, health insurance delays payments, but of late they are paying small. Let me use that phrase. So why should I use that harsh word? Extort from the poor patients. You understand what catastrophic expenditures are. So we need strategies, not from the DG alone, not from anybody in the ministry headquarters, but how we can get cheaper implants to supply for people to use so that they get out of these challenges. So we need your help. Help in terms of how you can make access cheaper so that we save ourselves the little money we can keep on ourselves to take care of ourselves.
All right, so that's Health Minister. And when you go to Parliament, the Committee on Health has a ranking member who's joined us in studio. Kwabena Mita Akando is Member of Parliament for the Dwaboso constituency and the ranking on the Health Committee in Parliament. Good afternoon, Mr. Akando, and thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, Martin.
To start with, I mean, just taking off from where the Health Minister left off, that it is unfortunate that people are being forced to pay more, or being, he used the word, meaning that they are forcing patients to pay more for the services they are coming for. Has this come to the attention of the committee, and what are your immediate thoughts on it?
Yes, it has come to the attention of the committee, but it's rather unfortunate if you have ministers who are supposed to solve problems complaining to us back. It's rather unfortunate. You know, this government has succeeded in making the National Health Insurance scheme unattractive to both the subscribers and then the service providers. I say so because, you know, government comes to us to take monies from us in the name of National Health Insurance Authority. So if you go to lunch, if you go for lunch, you check your receipt, you see that some National Health Insurance levy, anything you buy, including blades. So these monies are supposed to be used for its intended purpose. Unfortunately, when they come to you for that money, they divide the money in some cases into two, and they take part of the money. You understand? So, for example, in 2023, the formula we made and the budget, the 2023 budget, government said they were going to take about 5.28 billion Ghana cedis from you and I in the name of National Health Insurance Authority. Now, when the National Health Insurance Authority brought their formula, which we approve annually, now the expenditure sits at 2.7 billion. Where is the difference? Government has taken the difference. Now, as if that is not enough, even the little that is left to be paid to the authority are also not flowing. The National Health Insurance Act is clear that the minister responsible for finance will appoint somebody to take these, levies. And these levies must be paid into the National Health Insurance Fund every 30 days. 30 days. The law is clear. The law is unambiguous, it's clear. Now we have a situation where we are owing service providers in arrears 7 months, 6 months. So given the inflation and the depreciation of the cedi, which institution or health institution will survive when you owe the institutions 5 months, 6 months, 7 months? I'm not in any way indulging co-payment. Taking monies from subscribers. But of course, we have to face the realities. So it is up to the minister responsible for health, to make sure that they are paid timeously. If you look at the graph, if you look at how from 2013 till now, you realize that the payment of the National Health Insurance Fund is declining.
And I see that you have that on the screen. You can walk us through it.
So now, if you check, in 2013, you will see that about 79% of the money collected in 2013 was paid to the fund. In 2014, so you see it is increasing. So you realize that in 2017, it got to this point. Then it started decreasing. So last year, in 2021, when they took the money that was supposed to go to National Health Insurance Fund, only 6% of the money was released. 6%. And when they brought the 2023 National Health Insurance formula and we're reviewing the 2022, we realized that the formula we approved for 2022, absolutely nothing was paid, zero.
So you mean the whole of last year?
The whole of last year
has been paid.
But with respect to, mind you, with respect to the 2022 formula, when you say nothing has been paid, they will say, oh, in 2022 we pay some money. No, because we are running in arrears. So the money that was paid in 2022 was for 2021. So don't forget that in 2020 they paid only 6%. So in 2023, if they pay any money, it will not be for 2023, but it will be for 2022. So we are gradually collapsing the scheme.
But the accusation rather is that there is the NDC that was collapsing.
But the evidence is clear. I don't need to speak.
For purposes of clarity, this is data from where exactly?
The National Health Insurance themselves. You know, I'm a ranking member of the committee. So per their own records presented to Parliament, and we know we approve this formula every year. Every year we approve this formula. And so this is what it is.
And from Parliament side or the ranking committee or the committee side, what answers do they give you about when they split the money, where the rest goes to? Of course, it's supposed to go into the fund. So if it doesn't go into the fund, where does it go to?
So it goes into renting of presidential jets and other things. That's what it is. And unfortunately, we are supposed to spend not less than 15% of our national budget in the health sector. So even if you cannot add on, we should not be taking from the health sector. So if you are approving the formula, you see items like burden of health institutions in the National Health Insurance formula. You see items like support to the Ministry of Health. Whilst the Ministry of Health should be supporting the scheme, now it is the scheme rather supporting the Ministry of Health. So we are collapsing the scheme.
So, clearly, I'm sure that many who are watching now, especially those on their way to the hospitals, etc., will be concerned. Is there a proposal of a way forward? Have you sought answers to some of these concerns?
My worry is that you, the media, decide to say what at what time. Because we have consistently been speaking about this. Ask Kobla, you're a rep in parliament, on the floor of the House, I mean, addressing the press almost every time. If the minister had not come out to speak this way, this reckless statement, we wouldn't have been discussing this thing. But mind you, the health sector is a very critical sector. It is. Okay? So it's not as if we have kept quiet. The minister is supposed to pay the money within 30 days. Sometimes, and in fact, after even paying, the law goes ahead, 52.2. It says that you have to show evidence to the authority and even parliament. And you must even report to parliament, 52.2, report to parliament every 6 years, every 6 months to report on the progress of the payment. But none is being done. You raise issues, you talk because it's a family affair, the Minister of Finance thinks that he's untouchable. And you see, this issue goes beyond the Ministry of Health. Okay. Okay? It goes beyond the Ministry of, because in this case, it is the Ministry of Finance taking the money. So not until the Ministry of Finance releases the money to the fund, there cannot be any onward disbursement of the fund.
You have struggled in the last few months, or probably a year or so, to get the health minister to come answer questions, some of these questions. How successful have you been? And a few times you've had interactions with him. What kind of answers does he give you?
Unfortunately, most of the cases, the answers are not satisfactory. But the rule of the House is that when you invite a minister to the floor of the House to answer a question, you can't debate the answer.
All right.
You understand? That is the rule, unless it's a motion or some other things. But you see, at the end of the day, we members of parliament, every leader in this country, we are accountable to the good people of this country. Right. So once we speak, we push them at the committee level, on the floor of the House. The good people of this country must also know what is going on. Okay,
we'll certainly interrogate and seek further answers to these concerns you've raised. Kwabena Minta Akando is a member of parliament for the Dwaboso constituency and also the ranking on the health committee in parliament. A lot more questions than answers, and we'll be following all that through. Thank you for your time this afternoon. Let's shift our attention to labor-related issues. Now, the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOGSAG, has agreed to the new deal which has been offered by the Ministry of Finance to its pension funds on the Alternative Domestic Debt Exchange Program. The new program, according to the Finance Ministry, is aimed at alleviating the cash constraints on the government in the coming years while fully compensating the pension funds for the value of their current holdings. Executive Secretary of CLOGSAG, Isaac Bampo Addo, says his union members have analyzed the new deal and find it suitable to their cash flow needs. He spoke with our labor correspondent, Daniel Opoku.
It will depend on the investment portfolio of every scheme. But we, based upon our investment portfolio and what we're getting as coupon rates, we are okay from 2023 to 2028. That's if government will not renege on the agreements made so far. This is not organized, staying off organized labor. Every scheme has got its investment portfolio. The investment portfolios of the schemes are not the same. So it's for every scheme to study the document that comes from Ministry of Finance and see whether it will meet their requirements. We have studied it, and then we think from 2023 to 2028, we will not have any cash flow problem. And if you look at the proposals from Ministry of Finance, it says this proposal is within the MOU that was signed by Organized Labor and Ministry of Finance. So it's within. I'm saying this is for the Hedge Master Trust Occupational Pension Scheme established by Civil and Local Government Staff Association, CLOGSAG. Right. We have analyzed it, and it meets our requirements. Others too have to analyze it, and it depends on the sort of investment portfolio that they have. We, based on our investment portfolio, we can meet all our cash requirements.
That's an interesting twist to the whole conversation, where CLOGSAG, a major, partner in the labor front, are saying that they support the agreement. On the contrary, though, the secretary of the Legon branch of the University of Ghana, Professor Ransford Jampo, says the one way to get government to listen to labor and cut its ministries ministers to about 40 is for labor unions to flex their muscles and shut down the public service. Admonishing the various unions ahead of the May Day celebration, Professor Jampo on his Facebook page said that, quote, "We can shut down the public service as a way to compel government to be frugal and to sacrifice first. The call on us to help the government to settle its debt through various clandestine proposals about our pension must be rejected ab initio. And so on your screens are some of the specific quotes. It says that we must not hate any regime, but we must note that if we don't hit this government hard and give it the needed ultimatum to reduce its ministers to about 40 and collapse some other ministries to create just about 15 of them, we won't be able to hit any government harder should there be a regime change in the future. Then he also goes on to, Professor Ransford Jampo has joined us on phone for a quick conversation on this. Prof, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you for your time.
Martin, good afternoon.
It looks as though your messaging, as much as it is directly to government, also is admonishing general, the groupings in the labor front to sing with a unified voice in getting government to act. How coordinated is the effort, and how aligned are the labor unions when it comes to issues like these?
Well, I think since independence, labor unions have not seen the need to be able to work together and to coordinate their efforts aimed at harmonizing such efforts for the purposes of achieving desired objectives. And as I said in my open letter to them, I made mention of the fact that elsewhere in the United Kingdom, labor unions saw the need to close their ranks and to work together. And that was how they mutated their associations into a formidable political party whose main aim was championing the interests and concerns of labor. And so essentially I was asking that we close our ranks and to work together with the view not to show interest for any regime, but with a view to ensuring that we keep the government of the day, every government of the day on its toes to ensure it does the right thing so that the implications of the actions and inactions of government will not come to haunt us. If you look at many of the interventions, the drastic interventions of government aimed at dealing with its economic difficulties, oftentimes these interventions come to affect labor. They are talking about increases in taxes. I thought it was a regime that didn't believe in nuisance taxes, but under its same era, we have so many taxes being heaped on the already burdened, labor and all that. So it's important that we come together to speak a common language, and we are a force to reckon with. Like I said, we have the muscle to flex to force every regime or any government to listen to us. So it's not about governmental intransigence to calls by individual academics and civil society leaders. It's about labor. And so essentially asking us to close our ranks and to do things together, I think shouldn't be any difficult call. It's something that should welcome into labor.
Right. So that was actually the premise for my first question. And moving on, you have a crucial meeting ahead of the May Day, and then also there are definitely going to be discussions about the domestic debt exchange program, the pension fund subject will definitely likely come up. What's the understanding you're getting, especially from government side? This has been a conversation in the last few months. Has government shown any level of commitment of listening, or at least taking on board some of the suggestions your good self, your union, UTAG, and other labor unions have put across?
Well, essentially, this government has a penchant for taking decisions without consulting. And so sometimes, even when their decisions are well intended, because of lack of consultation, they are not decisions that are seen to be welcoming. And so it's important that labor meets and review its options in a week of government taking decisions without consulting. So the point is that we've seen some letters flying around inviting people to participate, inviting us to participate in a certain program that would have implications for our pension. Whether it is good or it is bad, the point is prior consultations have not been held or were not held. And so then people, we are bound to react in a way that opposes such interventions that were taken, or such decisions that were taken without being consulted. So let labor unions begin their meetings and prepare their statement, and we'll see how it goes. But bottom line is that the government will be saved a lot of headache if it learns to consult and to pay attention.
Right, and finally, before you take leave of us, just ahead of your meeting, we've seen clocks. I know UTAG, for instance, says they are not in agreement with the new proposal government is giving the alternative DDEP they are putting across. CLOGSAG, on the other hand, are saying that they are in agreement and in support of these new proposals. So already, even ahead of your meeting, there seemed to be some level of disagreement. Your thoughts on this?
Well, it was because of some of these disagreements and some of these things that how come I took it upon myself to write to admonish labor as a whole. Even if one wants to disagree, I want to believe that our disagreement should come after meeting. If we dialogue amongst ourselves and others want to disagree, so be it. I mean, it's a there's freedom of association, and each association has got a right to decide in a manner that it deems fit and in the interest of its members. And so I was a bit disappointed to learn about the CLOGSAG decision. But the point is, CLOGSAG is CLOGSAG, TUC is TUC, UTAG is UTAG. There are various labor unions, and we can take our individual decisions. But what will be helpful is for all of us to close our ranks and to learn to speak with a common voice on some of these pertinent issues. If you allow the politicians to know that we are divided, or if you allow them to divide our ranks, then the implications of whatever we do would always come back to haunt us and to affect us.
Prof, thank you so much for your time as always.
It is my pleasure.
Professor Ransford Gyampo, he's a professor of political science and also the secretary of the UTAG branch, the University of Ghana. You're still watching Midday Live on TV3. Stay with us. We have business for you right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chesena me ankasa me period no say problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na me coin point no mo hwe me mogam no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro me fire no ene ma won kra me nu foforo kwa na me coin mu a eba and everything yourself
me ma me no adwojo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama nuru a ene ne ho eden a watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you of Acrobato. Hello hey ohwehwe what che okay a free bra wo di end point wa dance am me call you no me Johnson sema na nkoyie e person na maye mre nyina na magina sebema na me be fie for there e ho na nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. I'm free.
Last year was massive. This year, it will be the bomb. Tour du Ghana, the ultimate cycling event in the sports calendar, happening on the 20th and 21st of May 2023. Confirm your participation. Registration fee is 200 Ghana cedis for single riders, while 100 Ghana cedis goes for clubs with 10 riders or more. Your registration comes with personal accident cover, accommodation, feeding, and transportation. Start point of the tour is from the West Hills Mall, SCC to the Takrady Mall, and from Takrady to the Cape Coast Chapel Square. For more details, contact 0244 893758 or 0546 063 747. Tour du Ghana, happening on the 20th and 21st of May 2023. Be part of the excitement.
When the sun rises, there is hope. While this hope lingers on, the citizens look up to the government, the economy, the national development agenda, and everything in between.
On Ghana Tonight, it's our utmost priority to bring you insightful conversations on the economy, break down the biggest issues while setting the agenda for transformation and national development. The big and important stories are treated from the human interest angle, while the facts and the figures are painted with precision. So now, let's cut the convention and start the conversation here on Ghana Tonight. I am your host, Alfred Okamsi.
Ghana Tonight shows Monday to Friday at 10 p.m. on TV3.
Thank you for staying with TV3. This is still midday live time now for business, and Menu Afo has joined us in studio. Hello, Menu.
Hi, Martin.
You look good in the blue nice dress.
Thank you.
All right, so you give us details of what's happening.
Thank you very much. You're welcome again to the business segment. My name is Menu Afo. In our first story today, the services sector continues to drive Ghana's growth. That is according to the Ghana Statistical Service. Gross domestic product grew by 3.1% in 2022, with the services sector contributing 45.3% to the economy.
The growth rates that were recorded between the period 2020 and 2021, when oil GDP grew by 5.6% and non-oil GDP grew by 6.9%. From a sectoral point of view, the economy continued to be driven by the services sector, which in the last quarter of 2022 contributed 45.3% to the GDP of the economy. We saw a marginal increase in the contribution of the industry sector, growing from 33.4% in 2021 to 36.0% in 2022. We saw a reduction in the contribution of agricultural sector, which grew by 22% in 2021 and slowed down to 18.7%, a dip of about 3.3 percentage points in 2022. From an annual perspective, the value of the economy in 2022 was 610 billion, specifically 610,222 million Ghana cedis for the year 2022. This is in current terms. In constant terms, the value of the economy for 2022 was almost 180 billion, and from a non-oil perspective, the value of the economy in 2022 was 169 billion. Given the respective values in 2021, from an oil perspective, the economy grew by 3.1% in 2022 relative to 5.1% in 2021, indicating a dip of about 2.0 percentage points between the periods 2020 compared to 2021 and 2021 compared to 2022.
Still on the economy and related economic issues, a tax consultant, Francis Timor, has warned governments will have to pay attention to the cry of businesses and amend the new taxes or risk creating a bigger problem of unemployment in the country. This follows the passage of the Excise Duty and Excise Tax Stamp 2022 Amendment Bill, the Income Tax Amendment Bill, and the Growth and Sustainability Levy Bill 2022 into law, which the business community has described as inimical. President Nana Akufo-Addo signed into law the 3 new tax bills that were passed by Parliament recently. The business community has, however, reiterated the heavy tax burden on them and are warning businesses may eventually collapse. They are asking for further engagements with government. Francis Timor is a tax consultant who says government will have to heed the cry of businesses and make some amendments to the law or risk creating a bigger problem of unemployment after the IMF deal.
The only thing for me I see is that the mid-year budget and then the annual budget that will be done in November may present some opportunity for government to review it downwards a little bit after the engagement has been done. In as much as we are trying to solve a problem, we should not be seen as creating additional problem. I don't think government can do more of recruitment any longer. It's the private sector which is going to remain the engine for growth. So if policies are hurting them and we are not listening to them because we need to take these hard decisions, at the end of the day, we may solve our IMF problem, but there will be a permanent problem that we may create in the form of unemployment and collapse of businesses.
Meanwhile, the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana has hinted to Three Business some engagements among the business community today to decide on the way forward on the new taxes. Moving on, Professor of Finance at the University of Cape Coast, John Gachi, says government should have known better as it proposes another debt exchange program. According to him, the agitation from the Labour Front is due to the fact that Labour unions believe there's a limit to the authority of trustees and managing pension funds should be more conservative.
After all the arrangement or the agreement that they sought to establish, the trustees of the pension fund are supposed to go to those who mandated them to seek authorization for the deal to be activated. So I believe that is where the problem is coming from, because the labor unions believe that there is a limit to the authority of the trustees. They needed to consult them before those things were put on paper. There is a general carefulness regarding the investment of pension funds. And to the extent that they were not consulted, they felt that they were not properly briefed, and it is possible their monies will suffer some challenges in terms of returns. We don't know how many people will be going to pension soon. We don't know the liquidity profile. But that is why the document, when you read the document seeks to assure the pension funds that these arrangements seek to provide more liquidity than if it is under the previous arrangement. So it is now left with the labor unions and the trustees on one side to assess whether what the government is proposing is indeed the truth.
Now, we'll move to the local currency now because it's trading at 10 cedis 94 pesos, looking at the midweek performance against the dollar. At the retail markets, the cedi is trading today within the ranges of 10 cedis and 12 cedis when it's being bought and selling at 13 cedis 35 pesos for some banks. There's not been much changes on the market compared to last week's performance. And that brings us to the end of the business segment. My name is Minu Afodu. Stay with us for sports.
Zest Console is the best place for your IELTS, SAT, and GRE tuition. The IELTS facilitates study, work, and live abroad. The SAT and GRE facilitate study abroad on scholarships. Zest Consult has an amazing track record of training around 4,000 students, nurses, midwives, and many others who have excelled in these examinations and realized their study and work abroad dreams. Contact us if you really want to study on scholarship. Zest Consult also provides real estate, automobile, and IT solution services. We can help you buy or sell lands and buildings and rent office spaces or accommodation. We can also help you obtain a car loan or buy or sell a car. If your institution needs a stunning website and amazing software, then contact us. You can call or WhatsApp us on 0555 631 633 or 050 909 2330. You can locate us at Kumasi Cultural Center and the Chamsume 5 inside Willas Towers. Zest Consult, excellence is our hallmark.
Abrantie mi hu fum so bia won ho. I see ku.
Sa abrantie we o ka kire nkrofo ni se me mu bia nto home appliance e wo so bia keke. Na o sa kwa so ajenkwa ohine sesai kan ni importem ni na odini nchesha dada manfo ase o madu poto. Miwi na mesi ya ka ha kwa ko ke ho she na wa se o iti
Asasi, anyone did do any I am in major dear. And what has a memo nipa who near ye, nay, papa.
Nay, papa.
And it's only probably 20 home appliances in our car farm. This is one you are near me so far so pet. This day, car farm of sorted. But it 1 year man so I could do 65%.
Tivika say, no boys.
And so, I'm not so too.
You have to say what you fear.
Anyhow.
Yeah, Abrantie me bi samwa obi antimi ka kire me de ntie se me kuno en samwa ka no susu to asum afi wei ye de Yesu hu be che no if so kan sempa afi foforo no ye ba dwe maka famfo enso to
anyhow. Hello, Kafam. Uma sorti Ponto Pilato mame.
Digital Zakios, Michelle Kofaka from TV Kasian Brem.
Catch ma hunya ha.
Confirm, assorted Easter promo. Up to 65% off.
We are on a mission promoting access to quality health and education through the power of our media space. Since 2014, we have made great impact. TV3 mission now drives Ghana's quest to break barriers and provide access to inclusive and quality girls' education, together with women's maternal health services. Our mission to address the needs of the socially excluded has won the admiration of many. Indeed, TV3 mission gets you the results. Mission is live on TV3 News 360 every Saturday and Sunday. Supported by Star Ghana Foundation, with thanks to Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office.
Welcome back to Midday Live on TV3. Time now for sports. Yao Fosilabi is with us in studio. Hello, Yao.
Hi, Martin.
All right, so yesterday didn't go well for Chelsea.
Yeah, today it looks like it will go well for Man City. I mean, Man City, yeah. 3 goals to the good. It's an uphill task for Bayern Munich to get back.
I'm looking forward to that game.
It should give us a really good game, and so we're looking forward to that.
All right.
But let's just head into the sports news this afternoon on Midday Live on TV3. And Communications Director of the Ghana Football Association, Henry Asante-Chum, has assured football fans that the FA is doing all it takes to improve the infrastructure in the domestic football competitions.
But the challenges are there. The challenges are enormous. It is something you cannot run away from. Yeah. Most of these clubs do not own their own facility. Again, the FA is handicapped when it comes to cracking the whip, especially when it comes to the implementation of the club licensing regime or the regulations. So sometimes you are you are compelled to relax things a bit just to allow the clubs to have a field day in certain areas of the implementation. I know we'll get there. Some of the clubs have taken the initiative to now begin their own projects. Hearts of Oak 1, Asante Kotoko 2, Nations FC in Division 1-3. There is another club called Asekem FC at Mampombe. You know, yes, in the Ashanti region, they also have a very nice project that they are embarking upon. So I think, yes, regardless of the facts that there are challenges, the game itself hasn't been bad. I watched Kotoku Royals Midiema last week. Midiema took the lead. Kotoku Royals are down, you know, at the bottom of the table, but they have been very, very competitive. They've gathered more points in the second round compared to the number of points they amassed in the entire first half of the campaign. So, yes, the challenges are there, like I said. Officiating has been, you know, a bit topical in terms of the decisions of referees, week in, week out, but I'm sure we'll get better.
That's Communications Director of the FA, Henry Asante Twum. To some more stories, and still on local football, because Great Olympics have received approval from the Ghana Football Association to play the remainder of their home games this season at the Wafa Park in Sogakope. Public Relations Officer of the Accra-based club, Saint Osei, explains the rationale behind the decision to relocate.
We decided to pick on our alternative venue for our home matches. One, because of cost, and two, to get the boys in a very good condition.
So you saw that from Saint Osei, who is the Public Relations Officer for Accra Great Olympics there. Great Olympics moving away from the Accra Sports Stadium to play the remainder of their matches at the Sogakope Park. It's an AstroTurf. Olympics train on an AstroTurf here in Accra. That's at the Magdan training facility. And then there's also an AstroTurf in Sogakope where they'll be playing. So it just makes sense that they move there. And that's what Saint Osei had to say about it. But tonight in the UEFA Champions League, Manchester City will also face Bayern Munich. It's a game that's coming up. And Inter Milan will also face Benfica. Those are two games that are coming up for you. City beat Bayern Munich by 3-0 in the first leg. And then Inter Milan also beat Benfica by 2-0. This time around, they're playing at home. City going away to the Allianz Arena. And it serves for two cracking games in the UEFA Champions League. My name is Yao Fusulabi, and that's all the sports news this afternoon here on Midday Live on TV3. Entertainment news is up next.
Entertainment is on with yours truly. Hello, Noella.
Hi, Martin.
Okay, let's go ahead with the entertainment news then.
Well, let's get into the details of the entertainment news here on Midday Live. My name is Noella. Now, news coming in just a few hours ago. Legendary Ghanaian rapper Michael Elliott Kwabena Ochorodako, known popularly as Obrafo, has sued Canadian rapper Drake for copyright infringement. Now, according to details of the suit, Obrafo is suing Drake for sampling his 2003 hit track, Oyohene Remix, in his song Calling My Name. Now, details of the suit suggest that Drake had sought permission to sample the song via email and was declined. Drake, however, went ahead to release the track, which was featured in an album days later. Obrafo, affectionately called the rap executioner, is asking for $10 million as compensation. We'll definitely bring you details of that in a subsequent bulletin. But on to some more stories. Budding high life and Afrobeat singer Essie has called for more support for female artists. Now performing at her Essie Music Rituals concert, the John Boy crooner said when given the opportunity and the support, women can do better for Ghana music. After the release of her 14-track album, Good Tape Volume 1, fast-rising female Afrobeats and high-life artist Essie is on the move to making her voice heard. Essie made a stopover at the Solace Bar in Cape Coast with her Essie Music Rituals with Pax Band concert, serving the audience with a buffet of live band performances. The event also afforded an opportunity for some Cape Coast-based female artists to share their craft. Speaking to 3 Entertainment after the concert, the Alodia Promotion signed artist says female artists within the music industry should be giving more of such platforms to push their craft.
Come and do like a show for my people. Because I'm from Commander and Cape Coast is Central. And Central region we have like Yawadia, we have music, we have talent. So I just came here to like kind of revive everything. I mean the girls are doing well, but then I feel like the support is not there. So I just came here kind of shake things. Yeah. Women in general are not being appreciated for what they do. It's not just Cape Coast, it's everywhere, in Accra and everywhere. So I feel like they should push us as well because we can do better.
Now on to our final story. Sugarcane hitmaker Camido has bagged 6 nominations at this year's Vodafone Ghana Music Awards, including the big one, Artist of the Year. Now the top flying talent in a chat with Osu Orai sounded confident about grabbing the Artist of the Year honors in other categories he was nominated in. Camido performed at the VGMA Experience concert in Ho.
Yeah, this was like an opportunity for me to connect with my people. Yes, and this from here I'm just going to be coming back to back. Was a lot of fun. I had a good time.
All right, there's been a lot of conversation about the VGMA Artist of the Year where you happen to be on. First off, how do you find the list, and then how do you see your chances?
Yeah, I'm confident about every position that every category that I've been nominated in. It's just, we're just here, you know, having fun with it. The fans just need to vote, and then I'm confident though. So yeah, they just vote and we win.
People have said that Camido had a very great year, had some level of visibility beyond our home country. What is the future looking like for Camido?
The future is looking bright. God is on our side. We're gonna win and win and win and win.
All right, come on.
That's it for entertainment here on Midday Live. My name is Noel. I'll be handing over to Martin now.
Thank you very much. Let's find out what's happening on the international front. And clearly, Sudan has been in the news in the last few days. Today is the 5th day, and heavy sounds of artillery continue to be heard Wednesday as confrontation between the army and Rapid Support Forces, RSF, the powerful paramilitary, carries on to the 5th day. The Sudan Doctors Union says at least 175 civilians have been killed and more than 1,000 others injured since the confrontation started on Saturday. Head of the Norwegian Refugee Council, Jean Egeland, has told the BBC that the humanitarian situation in Sudan is dire and that helping people was becoming impossible. Before the fighting began between the two rival military fractions, he said that the 15.8 million people were in need of humanitarian relief. But since the confrontation or the conflict started, virtually no humanitarian work has been successful. It has all become paralyzed. And that's how we bring the bulletin to an end. Thank you very much for watching. Our website, 3news.com, has many more stories for you. Have a good afternoon, and as always, stay positive. I am Martin Esiedu-Datin. Bye for now.
This program is rated PG